Have you ever wondered why a narcissist seems to despise you, despite your best efforts to please them? This question might sound familiar to many of us. It's an entry point into the complex universe of narcissism, a psychological concept that's often misunderstood. Narcissism is not merely an inflated sense of self-importance. It's a deep-seated personality disorder characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy for others, and a desperate need for admiration. The world of a narcissist is a self-centered one where they are the sun and everyone else merely revolves around them. This inflated self-perception often leads to a distorted view of others, as they are seen as either a source of admiration or a threat to their self-worth. But what happens when you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist? Let's unfold this mystery. In a relationship, a narcissist's behavior can be puzzling and at times downright hurtful. Imagine being in a relationship where you constantly feel belittled, undermined, and made to feel less than. This is the reality for many people who find themselves in relationships with narcissists. Narcissism, at its core, is a personality disorder characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. When these traits manifest in a relationship, it can create a toxic dynamic that's tricky to navigate. Often, narcissists will use tactics like belittling or undermining their partners. This isn't because they inherently despise their partners, but rather, it's a mechanism to maintain their sense of superiority. By putting others down, they elevate themselves, feeding their ego and reinforcing their inflated self-perception. This can be emotionally draining for the person on the receiving end, leading to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. This isn't to say that all narcissists are intentionally malicious. Many are simply unable to recognize or understand the impact of their behavior on others. This lack of empathy, coupled with a need for constant admiration, can make being in a relationship with a narcissist feel like an uphill battle. Moreover, narcissists often struggle with insecurity and a fragile self-esteem that lies beneath their superficial grandiosity. To protect themselves from feelings of vulnerability, they may project their insecurities onto their partners, resulting in further belittlement and undermining. This projection serves as a defense mechanism, allowing the narcissist to preserve their ego at the expense of their partner's emotional well-being. It's important to remember that while narcissists can exhibit harmful behaviors, they are also individuals dealing with a complex personality disorder. Understanding this can provide some context to their actions and potentially guide the path to healthier communication. So why does a narcissist seem to hate you? The answer lies in their inherent need to feel superior. It's not about you, but rather their own need to maintain the image of perfection they've created for themselves. A narcissist's sense of self-worth is built on a foundation of superiority. This is the crux of the narcissistic personality. But why is this so? Why is superiority so fundamental to the narcissist's identity? Let's dive into the psyche of a narcissist. Imagine a fortress, strong and seemingly impenetrable. This fortress is the narcissist's self-esteem. However, instead of being built on self-confidence and genuine self-worth, it's constructed on the shaky ground of superiority over others. The narcissist's self-worth is so entwined with being better than, that they perceive others not as individuals but as threats. Yes, threats to their self-esteem. This is where the narcissist's hostility comes from. When they feel their superiority is being challenged, their defense mechanisms kick in. They might become aggressive, dismissive, or even cruel. But it's crucial to understand that this hostility isn't about you. It's about the narcissist's fear of being less than. This fear is so terrifying for the narcissist that they will do anything to avoid it. They'll belittle others, inflate their achievements, and even rewrite reality to maintain their illusion of superiority. You see, at the heart of the narcissist's need for superiority is a deep-seated fear. It's the fear of being inferior, of being exposed as a fraud. This fear is so profound that the narcissist will go to great lengths to protect their fragile self-esteem. They'll build walls of arrogance, project an image of perfection, and dismiss anyone who dares to challenge their inflated self-image. It's a complex and often destructive cycle. The narcissist's need for superiority fuels their hostility, which in turn isolates them from others, leading to further defensiveness and aggression. It's a cycle that can only be broken by the narcissists themselves, by facing their fears and insecurities, and learning to build their self-esteem on healthier foundations. The narcissist's hostility isn't personal. It's a reflection of their own insecurities. So, the next time you encounter a narcissist's hostility, remember this. It's not about you, it's about their fear, their insecurity, and their desperate need to feel superior. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can be challenging, but understanding their behavior can help. To navigate the tumultuous waters of a relationship with a narcissist, it's crucial to develop coping strategies. A key part of this is setting boundaries. Narcissists often disregard the feelings and needs of others, so it's essential to establish and maintain boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. This might mean limiting the time you spend with them, or avoiding certain topics of conversation that they tend to monopolize or twist to their advantage. But setting boundaries isn't just about keeping the narcissist's behavior in check, it's also about preserving your self-esteem. Narcissists thrive on making others feel lesser, to elevate their own sense of importance. Don't allow their words or actions to undermine your self-worth. Remember, their need to belittle others stems from their own insecurities. It's equally important to surround yourself with a supportive network. Friends, family, or support groups can provide a much-needed reality check when a narcissist tries to manipulate your perceptions. They can remind you of your worth and that it's okay to prioritize your needs and feelings. Another crucial aspect of coping with narcissistic behavior is recognizing when professional help is needed. If the narcissist's behavior becomes abusive, or if you find it increasingly difficult to maintain your mental health, it may be time to seek the aid of a mental health professional. Therapists and counselors are equipped with the tools to help you navigate these difficult relationships and can provide strategies for maintaining your self-esteem and emotional health. Lastly, remember to take care of yourself. Engage in activities you love, practice self-care, and strive for a balanced life outside of your relationship with the narcissist. You are not responsible for their happiness, only your own. In conclusion, coping with a narcissist can be challenging, but it's not impossible. By setting boundaries, maintaining your self-esteem, seeking support and professional help when necessary, you can better navigate these relationships. Remember, you cannot change a narcissist, but you can change how you respond to them. A narcissist's greatest fear is being exposed for who they truly are. This statement is not just a mere observation but a profound insight into the complex psychology of narcissism. For a narcissist, their image isn't merely a reflection of who they are, it is their identity, their armor, their shield against the world. They construct an elaborate facade of superiority, perfection, and invulnerability, which they desperately cling to, for beneath this veneer lies a deep-seated insecurity and fear of being seen as inferior or flawed. Now imagine the terror that courses through their veins at the mere thought of this mask slipping off, revealing the person they so dread to acknowledge. This fear is so overwhelming that it fuels their hostility towards others. Anyone who dares to challenge their grandiose self-perception, who threatens to shatter this illusion they've so meticulously crafted, becomes an enemy in their eyes. Consider this. A narcissist's world is like a house of cards, carefully constructed yet precariously balanced. The slightest gust of wind, the smallest hint of criticism, and it could all come tumbling down. This is why they react so aggressively to any perceived threat to their self-image. Their hostility, their rage, their hatred, it's all a defense mechanism, a desperate attempt to maintain their illusion of superiority. It's important to understand that this hostility, this hatred, it's not about you. It's about their fear, their insecurity, their desperate need to protect their fragile ego. When a narcissist lashes out, when they belittle or demean you, it's not a reflection of your worth, but a testament to their fear. Remember, narcissism is not about genuine self-love or self-esteem. It's about a distorted self-image, a fragile ego, and a deep-seated fear of exposure. So, the next time you find yourself on the receiving end of a narcissist's wrath, remember, it's not about you. It's not a reflection of who you are. It's about their fear, their insecurity, their desperate need to maintain their illusion of superiority. The narcissist's hatred isn't about you, it's about their fear of being seen as they truly are. In the end, understanding narcissism can shed light on the complex dynamics of these relationships. Let's quickly recap what we've covered today. We started by defining narcissism, a personality disorder characterized by a deep-seated sense of superiority, a lack of empathy, and an intense need for admiration. We then delved into how this disorder can profoundly affect relationships, creating an imbalance of power and emotional manipulation. We also tackled the narcissist's insatiable need for superiority, a drive that often results in others feeling belittled or devalued. We explored coping strategies for those dealing with narcissists, emphasizing the importance of setting boundaries and seeking professional help if needed. Lastly, we discussed the narcissist's fear of exposure, a fear that can lead to defensive and hostile behavior when their facade is threatened. Remember, you are not the problem. The narcissist's hostility is a reflection of their own inner turmoil.